welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Zach. Here we talk about overlanding, gear, builds, DIY, all sorts of stuff related to modifying your vehicle, or at least just getting out there and adventuring in the outdoors. Today we're going to be doing a little bit more wiring. You know, I love doing different wiring projects, and we are at kind of none other than the mecca of vehicle wiring. And so let's just introduce Mitchell. We'll have Mitchell come sit down here. So if you guys don't know, this is Mitchell. He's from Blaze Off-Road. If you're active on social media a lot, you've maybe heard of his shop. But yeah, Mitchell, what are we going to be doing today?
We're going to be doing some SDHQ battery terminals, bud. Get your battery terminals cleaned up, improve that reliability, and kind of give you a solid place to mount all of the power distribution going throughout your vehicle.
Yep.
As you know, on overland rigs, we run a lot of power out of these little batteries. So it's nice to have a solid foundation to transfer that power to everywhere in the vehicle that you need it to go.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So kind of what we're going to do is I'm going to show a little bit of what comes in this kit. This kit is going to be super easy to order from Mitchell's website, so I'll have that link down below. But what we're going to do is we're kind of look at the kit a little bit, and then we'll kind of walk you through, or at least show you as we install it on my vehicle, so you can kind of see where there's some benefits to this kit, how I'm using it in my system, and maybe where it might be helpful in your system. So awesome. Well, yeah. Should we jump back to the shop and start installing it?
Let's go throw them on, dude.
All right, sweet. Let's do it. All right, guys, well, I've pulled in the 4Runner to Blaze Off-Road's shop. He can fit like 4-ish rigs in here, so it's pretty sweet. He's got a good sized shop here in the Denver area of Colorado. And if you can see behind me, we've got so many different connectors and different materials. Here at Blaze Off-Road and Mitchell, he is kind of he only does top of the line quality stuff. So in the past, I've done more of the Amazon wiring sort of approach. And I think he is slowly but surely convincing me how it might be more beneficial to spend a little bit of extra money on some materials. And he's going through some pretty creative ways in which a lot of us who off-road are able to source some of these really nice materials that have typically only been kind of behind closed doors for automotive shops and different distributors and dealers. So kind of listen for that more in the future, because I think we're going to have some pretty cool ways in which you can get some of the best cutting edge materials to wire up your truck yourself at a competitive cost, because buying stuff on Amazon is just a completely different class of quality, and buying stuff as a dealer means you're purchasing 50 to hundreds of maybe thousands of units of materials. So before we do the top down, I just wanted to kind of show you this wall, because when I walked in here, it was like a kid in a candy store. He has just about everything you can think of as far as vehicle wiring goes. So he's got a super sweet shop here.
All right, guys, if you have not seen the SDHQ battery terminal kit in a couple of years, it has gone through more than a few renditions. They've added some stuff. There's some stuff that you can get now that used to not come with the kit. You had to buy separate, like these covers, for example. I think they used to call it like a protective kit or something like that. But now it comes with the kit. The terminals themselves are super nice, all billet aluminum. They've done some changes here that you'll be able to see when comparing them to the older versions as well. And then for doing these on the Tacomas and 4Runners, really all the Toyota platform vehicles, since they have the tie down on top of the battery, as opposed to some of the Fords and other vehicles, I always do my mounting of this hardware a very specific way, and I'll show you why in a little bit. But essentially, I have the clamp bolt go in from the side with the letter, so you can see that is the driver's side essentially, to the passenger side of the vehicle. And the main reason that is when you go to put a ratchet or a wrench on it, on the positive side, you want to be as far away from that center tie down as possible. And then on the driver's side,
you get a light show otherwise, right?
Yes, exactly. And then on the driver's side, you don't want to, essentially you're never taking this bolt out, so that's fine, and you don't want to have to be stuck between there and the fender. They're both ground, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
But it just gives you more room to work.
Gotcha.
When you do it this way. And then I do it the opposite way for this set of bolts that pass through, and I'll explain that as well. So you will actually need to be taking these out so that you can put larger cables on this side. For example, that's where I mount the factory ground cable. It goes down to your engine block, starter, whichever vehicle you have will determine exactly where that beefier ground cable runs from the factory. And then similar, on this side, you never take that bolt out, so it'll never risk hitting the tie down. In this side, that you never take it out, so it'll never risk getting caught on the fender where you can't take it out. Whereas with this one, you do need to take out, like I said. So that's why I run these this way, so that you have that room to play.
Gotcha.
And then,
that's smart.
Yep, it's doing dozens of these kits a month kind of adds up to a few little tricks.
Right. Things where you've just taken it off the vehicle and put it back on a couple times and you're like, this is probably the best way to do it.
Exactly. So I pre-build the kits. This is as far as I pre-build them, but basically I do it like this, and then we're gonna hop over to the vehicle, start cutting that thing apart, take those old terminals off, and then throw these guys on.
Sweet, let's do it.
All right guys, so we're gonna go ahead and start tearing into this, ripping all this old stuff out so that we can get these battery terminals off. Obviously, most of it's just gonna get reconnected. Some of it will have to do different connections and cable lugs for and whatnot. That's no issue. Something that you can do pretty easily at home as well. But what we're gonna talk about first is something I see on a lot of vehicles, and it's this guy right here. It looks like a great point to mount stuff. It is a ground, but what a lot of people don't consider is that this factory ground cable down here, which we're gonna be replacing anyways, is meant for a specified amount of power. And that is basically what your vehicle needs to run on its own, obviously including your auxiliary ports and all that. So there's a little bit of a leeway there. However, it's not meant for stuff like, in this case, the ARB twin compressor, which is fused to pop at about 80 amps total. So even if it's running on 60, you're adding 60 extra amps to a tiny little cable, something that we definitely don't recommend. And it's definitely an advantage to running this SDHQ kit, is that you end up with way more mounting points, and we'll show you exactly where that smaller stuff can mount to alleviate that issue.
Yeah, and we were talking a little bit about this. If you're in the engineering community, you might understand this, but typically when you're talking about circuits, we talk about the flow of the current, which would be from the positive terminal to the negative terminal, but from a physics perspective, the electrons in electricity flow from the negative terminal to the positive terminal. So what he's talking about is basically those electrons are flowing through that little jumper cable and then going to that contact. So
yeah,
and the ground cable will get superheated essentially by that electricity.
Yeah, and those of you that are in the automotive community might recognize that as all of the times you've seen a circuit overloaded, the vast majority of the time, especially if the wires are the same gauge, the ground cable is what's going to melt first. It's always the one that releases the smoke, which is really hard to get back in wires.
It is hard to put the smoke back in a wire. I've tried before and it just doesn't work. I don't know what the problem is.
It's so hard. There's got to be a special tool for it or something. Engineers make dumb jokes. Yeah. We always do. I should also mention I was an engineer, so that I'm not just picking on you.
It's okay. I mean, I think if people are watching my channel, they already know I'm a self-proclaimed nerd, so it's no problem to pick on me for saying all kinds of nerdy things.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm well aware of it, and I've embraced it.
Yeah, it's all right. This whole thing comes in your SDHQ terminal kit. It is well, also a lot of people don't realize that your posts are two different sizes. Your battery posts are two different sizes. So this is as an example for those of you who, with other vehicle types, the clamp, I think it's on the Tacoma, for example, or maybe it's the Tundra. The clamp's wired in a little differently. It's not a two-piece terminal like that. And so if you aren't going to be cutting it and bolting it on, you bolt this to the top, and then that sheet metal clamp will go onto this post and clamp down. So that's for those of you that don't have a 5th gen 4Runner.
Yeah, I think there's a fair number of people out there with Tacomas. So.
Oh yeah. Now keep in mind the ground obviously isn't grounded, but it's always good practice to like not just go touching power and ground together.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Yeah. That like plastic that you could throw away.
So your terminals are a little messed up, buddy.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, you clamped this one on. Oh. You see that?
No.
The terminal itself.
Oh, the post is just spinning.
Yes, that is not good.
Ooh, boy.
It's one of those problems you don't want to have, but you're also kind of more glad you found when it's in the shop. Yeah, that post was clamped on there.
Oh, no, you know what it is?
Oh, is that a cover?
It's a cover, yeah. Because my old post... Yeah, no, we're okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that's... So basically what happened is I think my terminal might have been over-tightened or something at one point. And so my old one couldn't clamp down small enough because basically the like terminal gets overstretched, you know what I'm talking about?
You scared me. I thought we were about to be putting a new battery in this thing.
I was worried too. I was like, geez, I don't know if I'm prepared to put in a new battery. Oh man.
Good thing I at least have them in stock.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking too. I was like, well, I guess I'm at least gonna be able to drive away. Sheesh. Never a dull moment.
Stressing me out, bud. All right.
Man, it's been so weird today being at Sherpa and then being here. It's like the first time ever I've spent like a full day working on my truck where I'm not the one doing the work. It's like such a weird feeling, just like helping film and watching.
Is it a new rack too?
No, I've had the rack for 9 months maybe.
Okay.
Or 8 months, yeah. Just lots of tune-ups on all the little things on it.
Yeah.
So, all right, what's next?
Are you recording right now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean, it's just recording all the audio, but just obviously that scene.
That's fine.
What is this? Oh, boy.
I think I'm just going to give you this battery, bud.
No way.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I don't like that battery.
Oh, my gosh. Dude, Mitch.
Full Throttle is like the best batteries I've ever ran.
Okay.
So I think I'm just going to, we're just going to put this thing in there.
Dude.
Because that thing's not a good battery.
That's not it, huh?
No.
Is this a deep cycle, too?
Yeah, it's an AGM deep cycle.
Jeez.
They have something with their, like, they have some sort of special AGM technology. I read up on it a long time ago. I need to read up on it again.
Okay.
But it's essentially a deep cycle AGM. AGMs typically can't be run below, I think it's like 50%, or you'll start to lose like percentage points off the total charge capacity.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Jeez.
And then we'll do the SDHQ tie down as well. Oh my gosh. So that'll look way better. I don't want.
What are you doing? Just upgrading my
we don't
setup like this.
I don't think that I don't want to send this thing out with that battery on there.
Wait, you're telling me you don't just love the classic Napa lead acid?
No, I'd like to take it out of there if that's okay with you.
Sure. Yeah, be my guest.
Okay, yeah, we're gonna do that. Let's do that then.
I'm gonna join the Full Throttle Club.
Yeah.
Dang. Thank you, man. That was completely non-scripted. I was not anticipating that whatsoever.
That's why I was like, are you recording? Because I'm just going to give you a battery.
Jeez, that's awesome. Now I'm going to have to buy a second one for my dual battery spot.
Well, you know where to buy it from.
That's right. True. Good point.
Yeah, we're removing all of this.
Are AGMs lighter than lead acids or not really?
They're
probably about the same.
Heavier by a couple pounds, but not by a ton.
Gotcha.
So while we're in here, I'm going to... I see this on your vehicle in a couple of places, and I'm very upset at you.
Uh-oh. Is this something I did or something from the factory?
Something you did.
Oh, no.
What is this?
What about it?
Well, you got these zip tie tails everywhere, uncut, bro.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm typically okay at getting after them. I've got lots of zip ties all over the truck.
Look at these. You have some in here, too.
I do?
We got more tails in here, dude.
Sheesh, just exposing me, huh?
I know. You can't leave zip tie tails, dude. I'm professional.
That's hilarious. I actually thought that was going to be like something really wrong. Like a fatal mistake I made.
I mean, to some of us.
Arguably. You're like, what are you talking about?
It's not a fatal mistake, but I mean, there's one over there.
Yeah, true.
Also, like, these aren't flush cut. We need to get you a nice pair of flush cuts.
Yeah, you're probably right. Dude, I'm like the least bougie tool owner out there, you know?
You don't have to be a bougie tool owner. You can buy cheap flush cuts, but you need flush cuts.
Oh, I do have one flush cut, but I've never used it before. I just got it. I got it like a month ago. But
You just got it months ago?
1 month ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just got it. It's been months now. I still haven't used them. All right. So the next step in doing the battery terminals, if you have the proper tools to crimp new cable lugs on, and it's basically just to cut this off. This is garbage. Like,
I was kind of hoping you'd say that, because if we do a zoom in on that spot on that terminal or on that cable, that is not looking good.
it's nice and pretty.
Nice and corroded and like bluish
You
green.
get all these beautiful bluish green colors. It looks like the ocean.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Florida.
Getting back to your roots.
Or the corrosion reminds me of the north. Or it being dirty never mind. We're not going to keep going with this. Well, let's go ahead and start by dropping the new battery in. This is a group 35. As you can tell by my strained voice, it's a little bit heavy.
Okay.
But it's not too much heavier than the factory one.
So
It's a little bit smaller physically, but with higher output.
So is a group 35 basically, does that speak to the amount of amperage that it can output, or?
No, it's
or is
a
that-
pretty much useless scale that I believe it's the Society of Automotive Engineers came up with, or a group similar to that in the sizing of the battery. It's a pretty useless scale, but the cool thing about Full Throttle is the part number for this is FT75035. So I believe it's 750 ccas.
Gotcha.
I think is what it is,
Yep.
at whatever cold temperature.
Yeah.
But yeah, BCI group 35, which is the same as a 34R, which is what a lot of the Odysseys were.
Yeah.
So,
Cool.
but yeah, we'll throw that in there.
Nice.
And
I mean, everyone keeps telling me I need to switch to an AGM for cold weather. So.
yeah. Yeah.
Because
and-
I'm sure it helps with the longevity of it quite a bit if you're diffusing some of the, because like what lead acid batteries, you can go to like 80% before it's doing what you were saying at 50% for AGMs, right?
Yeah.
I think that's typically the battery. Like if you look at discharge rates per lifetime of battery graphs and stuff.
Yeah. So next we'll be doing the SDHQ tie down. This thing is phenomenal. It's just a billet tie down. This one we also sell on the website. I keep them in stock here too. For this battery, you don't need what they call their complete tie down kit. You can just simply get the group 35/34R tie down kit, and that's what this is.
Just a little side by side here. It's kind of hard to choose which one I like more, but
Wait, which one was the SDHQ one? Oh, that one. It says it on it.
yeah.
If
It's
it
good.
didn't say it, it'd be hard to tell.
It actually
like,
is really nice that they print it on there.
Yeah.
Good point.
I could get them mixed up sitting on the workbench, man. It's
Right. You'd have to remember by color then, probably from there.
That'd be so annoying. It's like barely not long enough.
So this is the one that came with it?
No, you use one factory one and one new one.
Oh, I see. And you just have extras of those here?
No, it comes with it.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought you walked over there and grabbed
I
an
grabbed
extra
this one.
I see. I was like, dude, you have
I do have
spare
some of
parts
them.
for these? I was like, that's impressive.
I do a lot of battery stuff.
Gotcha. I'm kind of happy that you're giving me a recommendation on these batteries because I've talked to Wes a bit, Black Hills Builds.
Yeah.
I've talked to a couple other guys who run these batteries, and I haven't really known a good AGM to run. There's a lot of options out there, and so it's kind of tough to make a choice on them, and you guys have had good luck with them.
Yeah, all my customers have really loved them. So that's kind of where I get most of my I can sell anything, right? As a dealer that, everybody will sell you product to sell, right? So
Right.
for me, getting feedback from customers who've paid for their stuff is very valuable.
Right.
And it's kind of where I've learned what products are actually worth the money and which ones maybe aren't.
Right.
So,
Yeah, fair enough.
and I did misspeak earlier. If you're getting a Group 35, you do need the complete tie-down kit from SDHQ, not just the normal battery tie-down.
So these must just be a little bit taller than what
They're-
most batteries can.
They look like they're about half an inch taller.
Interesting.
So,
Good thing you've got everything here in the shop.
I know.
Like most people, they'd panic and they'd be like, well, guess we'll wait a week.
No, I got everything here
You
all the
got it
time.
all.
Well, it's because almost every vehicle I have come in the shop gets, like, there's certain products, foundational items that everybody gets. Everybody gets the battery terminals. I don't work on a truck that doesn't get the SDHQ battery terminals for the most part. Just because it's so much easier to do, and like install price is just over $200 basically, like, you know, between $200 and $300.
Right.
There's no reason that if you're doing a whole switching system and an air compressor and all this stuff, that you wouldn't also go ahead and get the foundational items that everything connects to.
Yeah.
So getting a proper battery and the tie down and the terminals, yeah, adds up to, I don't know, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, like, you know, under $1,000, $700 to $1,000, depending on which battery exactly you're getting from Full Throttle. But
Right.
realistically, like, it's the foundation for the rest of the stuff you're going to do, and you're going to have that stuff for years.
Yeah.
You will never need to change that.
Yeah.
If you switch switching systems, if you go with the newest, baddest air compressor, if you add anything to your vehicle, rear power, red arc system, dual battery, this stuff stays the same.
Right. And you could even probably move it between vehicles.
Yeah.
Like if you go to trade this in and you're kind of putting it back to stock to get a decent dollar, like if you hold on to the stock stuff, toss whatever battery in there and you could move it to your next vehicle.
Realistically, that's a very real option that a lot of people do.
Yeah.
So,
because like you're saying, this is billet aluminum. This is like, it's gonna
lasting forever.
Yeah.
It's just tying down a battery.
Yeah.
It's not like it's getting beat up.
Right. Yeah. And it's under the hood, so it's like not going to be exposed to the elements nearly as much as like the hardware on your lower control arms. Like
correct. Yeah, it's not like it's a billet upper that's getting beat up all the time, or
right, exactly.
You know, a billet trailing arm in the rear, or something like that. Like,
right.
It's really not getting beat up at all. So,
yeah. Also, full disclosure, everybody, if you've watched some of my latest videos and you've seen in the cold weather, I wear these orange gloves to work on my truck. I got that idea from Mitchell. Like, I just saw him wearing the gloves and I was like, those look kind of nice for just like, you know, wrenching on stuff with oils and whatnot. And I liked how you talked about the dexterity. And then I was like, oh, actually, these would be like perfect in the cold weather when you like want something on your hands, because when they're bare, it's too cold. But yeah, so that's kind of like you partially sparked that idea to buy some of those and test them out.
I had no idea. Where'd you get yours from? Just from Amazon?
Just Amazon.
Yeah, that's where these come from.
I think they're like $15 a box. They're a little more expensive, but I like the little grip. I don't know, and they fit nice.
Dude, so when I was like growing up as a mechanic, the Snap-on truck used to carry these. So, you know, it's $40 a box.
Oh, gosh.
But that's what I did, was buy them from
hilarious.
Snap-on. Now that and the Liquid Death and the hand soap and all like random stuff I have for the business just gets delivered. Gotcha. I think I get a box of these a month just delivered from Amazon.
Nice. Yeah.
So
keeps it easy.
All right, so these batteries come with the little bolt-on terminals. These are just kind of general terminals. It's not like they're anything special or unique, but they are replaceable if for whatever reason you needed to in the future. And they're also a little bit of a pain to get out of these housings. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut them apart. There we go. So that's what they look like.
They're prettier than my old ones.
Yeah, they're also not falling apart.
Yeah, we won't talk about that.
Sorry, my bad.
No, it's fine. It's good to be exposed because that's a way to improve. I'm fully okay with being exposed.
Well, while we're talking about it then, no, I'm kidding.
Oh, the green light, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is actually like a really nice crimper too, and it's still hard to crimp these big cable lugs.
I've been wanting to do this exact job for a little while now because I knew how horrible that little connection looked. Like, it's probably the kind of thing I guess I could put some dielectric grease on there. If I want to make it all sloppy and nasty, but at least sealed up.
Yeah, in theory. I use a lot of heat shrink. Yeah, don't need one of those celebrity moments where I say something stupid like Ford's better than Toyota and everybody hates me, man. So I always act like the camera is rolling. Wait, is it rolling? No, I'm kidding.
Shoot, was I supposed to turn it off for that? Oh, my bad.
I had one of the celebrity moments.
I grew up in a Ford family, so I've grown up with Fords, had great luck with lots of Fords.
Yeah, dude, don't get me wrong, I loved my Tacoma. I needed a bigger truck for the business, and I needed something that could tow, and
yeah,
I'm glad I went with the truck I did, and now it's gonna be a supercharged long travel truck making 1,200 horsepower.
I didn't know you were supercharging it.
Yeah.
I just figured you were adding a bunch of suspension goodies. I mean, just from what you're telling me about the engine of it, it sounded like it was pretty gnarly already.
No, once the engine's, I'm doing like a mild build, so basically upper half build on the motor and a couple little things. It'll make about 1,200 horsepower.
Holy cow.
So I gotta build my transmission too. I know, so sad.
Yeah, that's gonna be really hard for you. What's this cable here? Oh, this is the
winch.
Negative of the winch. Gotcha.
That's why I put this protective film down.
Here's this other thing. This has been...
Look at that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, okay, I'm not crazy. All their cables have been doing that.
Correct.
And it sketches me out.
It should.
Why is it doing that?
It's poor quality crimps and wire.
Yikes.
Plus the heat shrink they use is not very
Thick.
beefy. Not very strong.
Yeah, I don't love that. You know what we should do?
What?
We should put together a kit that people can buy to wire up these Badlands winches. Because the Badland winches sell like hotcakes, you know?
They do.
People love them.
I mean, they're pretty decent winches, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, so, but as we've talked about, you don't need the isolator switch. And when I was putting my winch back on, my winch cradle for my bumper, because everything recently got repowder coated, it doesn't always look this pretty. I was kind of noticing a little bit of that play, and I think it must be this grounding cable to the back of the winch.
Yeah.
And I was like, yikes. So it's like maybe we could sell like a harness swap for them. People could buy.
Probably could.
I don't know. Maybe it's not worth it given the cost of thick cables like these, but I'm sure.
It'd be a few $100, but I mean, what I've found is if you offer something in this community, it will sell. It's like a quality product, that is.
Yeah.
So if you have your 4Runner wired at the shop here or Tacoma or whatever vehicle it is, and we put the SDHQ terminals on, especially on a vehicle like this where we cut the old factory ground wire off, I will replace the cable with a much better American-made, super high quality, fully sealed battery cable for your body ground. In theory, that's like $25, but I haven't charged someone for that like ever, I don't think. So.
Gotcha.
But I do have DIY battery cables available on the website, and I think I might have pre-made cables available on the website too.
Sweet. What you thinking?
What do you want to do about this?
Should we just cut it out? You want to just cut it right there and the cable
I guess
for it
there and there, and leave you to unmount this later. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. And this cable
It's
wraps
more than long enough.
This cable wraps around and it's down here.
Is it zip tied up?
I don't think so. It might just be laying back there.
Let's see here.
If you don't have the.
Oh, what?
Aww.
I'm happy it pulled through so easily. I'm upset you didn't zip tie it up back there.
It has like 3 layers of shielding.
It's so stupid.
I don't understand. Also, like when you get sent those harnesses, how they have like the super loose, like, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the Baja Design style. I think KC and Baja both use it's PVC sheathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it holds a ton of water.
Yeah.
I post videos of it all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Move these into position temporarily. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and throw this post mount fuse system back on. Throw your winch line on. Start to bolt it together. And
Do you
we'll,
typically have this thing point straight back, or how do you orient it? Yeah.
That's how I do, and we'll cut the zip ties up here to redo all that.
Nice. Have you found that's the best for a particular reason, or you just like how it all lays?
Like how it all lays out.
Gotcha. So the reason I don't flush cut them is sometimes they'll back feed, you know what I mean?
Oh, not if you use the ones I have.
Oh yeah?
They use stainless steel barbs.
Oh wow.
It's
So it like cuts into that plastic
It's
a little bit.
metal barb.
Jeez.
Yeah, they're way cooler. All right, so as you see, the plan changed a little bit, and we ended up doing the SDHQ tie down, the complete tie down, I believe is what they call it. So it's got your billet tie down bars with the bolts and J hooks and all that from SDHQ. We did a full throttle AGM battery, deep cycle AGM full throttle calls it, and then we did the SDHQ terminals. We've gone ahead and flipped some of this stuff around. On the winch cables, we put some bigger cable lugs on, took that old sheathing off that holds water, mounted all that stuff up, and got all this bolted up with a new ground cable. And yeah, it's just a lot cleaner, more reliable, more mounting points. As you saw, Zach, there's a few points that you can connect stuff now that there's not even a wire tied to, and the bolts are just kind of sitting there underneath. So,
right, yeah, a lot more expandability.
Oh yeah.
Dude, it looks amazing. Awesome. Thank you so much for doing that, Mitch.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So one of the things that Zach noticed that I do is throw this blue film on. I actually saw, we're always doing stuff to protect the paint, right? Like Mac Tool, Snap-on, they all sell the fender covers that end up getting dirty and scratch the paint worse than protect it. So I reached out to Sheepy Race out in California on Instagram, because they always put this blue film, sticky film, on all their high-end cars, Lamborghinis, Ferraris, well, mainly Lamborghinis and Audis is what they work on. And I was like, hey, what is this stuff? Where can I get it? And they sent me a link to the stuff that they buy, and I buy big rolls of it now. And anytime I'm laying over a fender, I grab my Adams polishes from the back, the detail spray, clean it all up, just so that there's no dirt or residue under there. And throw this stuff on, help protect the paint.
Awesome. Yeah, I think it looks cleaner than it did when I came in.
Yeah, it's because I washed it first.
Oh.
I used that detail spray. So yeah, and then going under here, we got the SDHQ terminals, the tie downs, full throttle battery, everything's reconnected. He's going to go ahead and take some of this other electrical stuff out. We've talked about some plans for some future stuff that he's got going on. We've got some new products that we're working on here at Blaze Offroad that we will be showing off and working with Zach on in the future. So definitely stay tuned to see some of that cool stuff as he revamps his entire electrical system, which he
again
didn't tell you guys about, but now I'm telling you, and now he has to.
All right, guys, well, that's going to be a wrap for this video. Thank you so much for watching. This was kind of a little bit more of me just filming Mitch do his good work. And if you are interested in getting this sort of similar work, he's located out here in Denver, Colorado, and he does builds for everyone, you know, small or large. He does different types of builds. So if you want to reach out to him or look into having your truck wired by him, he's definitely accessible. So we did a pretty big overhaul, and Mitch surprised me with some extra really awesome goods that we threw in that I was definitely not expecting. Just figured we were going to do those terminals installs. So Mitch is a super great guy. He takes care of his customers and people keep on coming back. So he does great work. Go check him out. I'll link everything that we did in this video down below. And like he alluded to, that was maybe going to be a secret and is now not anymore. I'm probably going to be redoing my electrical system again so that I can start adding some potentially small performance things to the vehicle. And I need more accessibility under the engine bay. So stay tuned for that. We've got some exciting stuff coming. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next video.